welcome back to part 3, additional tips, a tutorial to give you a better understanding of how to get a successful end product when you're making wearables. I'm Paula Hope, the Caravan Hooker, and thank you so much for purchasing my pattern, the Fine Wool Eyelet Hat. And of course we have a lovely set of gloves that goes with it, and soon we'll have a C2C beautiful cowl or head warmer that's coming as a pattern as well that you can then add to your range. So the purpose of this video is to support you in the preparation that you need before you start actually crocheting. Now many of us like to just run ahead and get onto the project, and then at the end often find we've missed things or not anticipated certain aspects, and unpicking is definitely a pain in the neck. So let's avoid those pitfalls and have a look at them together. How to measure up, get your measurements right, how to customize the hat if you need to, and it's really quite simple. You don't have to be an expert crocheter to get this right. You just need to understand where are the changes you can make if you need to. It was something that I came across as we were videoing and also taking photos of the finished product on our model, and we realized that she could actually wear all of the sizes. It just meant it was a slightly different style, and it made me think about the fact that you might have in your mind a distinctive style you've aimed for, but maybe haven't taken the precautions with the measurements and don't get the end result you wanted. And I really want you to be thrilled with your end result. After all, you've not only put in the cost of your yarn but the cost of your time. So we do want to get a finished project or finished product that you're super happy with and proud to wear. Let's get going with some simple tips, and I'll catch you at the end. Take the time to read your pattern. Tip number 1. This is really important to familiarize yourself with this particular pattern or any pattern that you're working on. So take the time to look through the different areas of your pattern, abbreviations. What is your tension gauge and what is the yarn that you need? And the abbreviations, is this pattern in UK, Australian or US terms? Now if you're not familiar with those, check out the conversion chart where you can see the difference of the stitches, and for your yarn comparison you've got a chart there to help you and assist with that also. The next most important page will be your measurement guide and familiarizing yourself with the sizes available. Now if you were crocheting a scarf or doing a blanket, it wouldn't really matter. Your tension gauge, your hook, your yarn size, all those things can be a little bit irrelevant. Of course you're going to get different results, but it's not the end of the world. But if you're making something that actually needs to fit you, then you want to be aware of the things that you need to look out for and understand how to use those or customize them in order to adjust them for you, because you are unique and your body will have its own distinct dimensions. Okay, so one of the things we're going to be looking at is making sure we understand the circumference measurement and what size we should then be selecting, and also understanding the crown measurement, the length down this way, so from your turn up or band through to your crown. And as you can see on the patterns, because we have a shaped crown, you're allowing about an extra inch here as you're measuring. So the measurements for the length of the hat are averages for the average head. Now heads come in different sizes, so you may have a slightly different proportion. So let's have a look at what I discovered when we did our modeling of the product and took the photos. I discovered something I hadn't actually thought about and would love to share with you to help you make sure you get the right fit. So let's get going with that and have a look at the details of the pattern and how you like to wear your hat and how your head measures up. So let's just talk about what negative ease actually means. Negative ease is a term used in clothing where your garment is finished smaller than the form of the body it will fit. And obviously in a hat we want your hat to be smaller so it fits snugly, not the same size as your head, otherwise it will be loose. So it's a simple concept. The next thing to consider is the style of the hat that you would like to make. Do you want the hat to be like the first picture in blue, where it fits snugly on your crown, or are you happy for it to have a slightly looser fit at the crown, or even potentially go for a slouchy look?
So it's time to make sure you've measured your head. Step 1, measure where you like the front of your hat to finish to the back area of where your crown is, and then measure the circumference around your head for the size of your head for the pattern. So if you're wanting to make this hat to fit you snugly, like the example of our model in the blue hat, then you will be choosing the size for the length, the crown first. So in her case, we would be choosing the petite or small pattern to start with, and we would begin crocheting the chain length for that particular pattern. That will enable us then to be on target to the length that she needs for her hat. Now, I would highly recommend that you test this, that you begin and work at least 4 to 7 rows so that your tension gauge begins to take effect, and then measure again or place on the head having turned up your folded band and see whether or not you're on track. Now, if for some reason you're way off and you're still not happy with what looks like the finished length, unpick and then reselect and start over. Now, because her head actually measured the circumference of a medium, although I'm working with the length of the small or petite, I will do the pattern repeats of the medium pattern and the crown of the medium pattern. It's really quite simple, and that should then achieve for me the shorter length, but the circumference width for a beautiful snug fit. So that applies in the same way that if you're not too worried about the fit sitting closely onto your crown, then just aim for your circumference and your length and pick your pattern closest, the size closest to that. Or if you were wanting a slouchy pattern, then obviously you can work with the longer length and then just do the pattern repeat to fit to your circumference. So I hope that hasn't confused you. You can always add or subtract stitches in the area of the band. Don't interfere with the eyelet pattern. I've given you plenty of room in the band where you can add or subtract. Generally, because the pattern has such a deep band, it would be there that you'd want to maybe subtract if the length was an issue for you. So definitely take the time to get your measurements sorted before you get going. And tip number 2, watch the video tutorials and look at the different images on your pattern before you start. At least get a little bit familiarized as to where those are and what the pattern is about, rather than just rushing ahead. I have put clickable links on your PDF in different areas of the pattern relating to the information that will assist you. And at the end of your pattern, you have a series of different images which show you a close-up of stitch or instructions to do with the making if you need that visual as well.
So I hope you found that really helpful. As I said, it's just some simple tips, not rocket science here, but they are things to think about before you get started on your project. So I hope you apply those and get the best result possible and have the perfect hat, perfect fit that you were aiming for. So thank you so much again for purchasing my pattern. If you haven't done so already, the link is in the description. It's available on Etsy. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, why not? Come and join me. Subscribe, hit the notifications, give a thumbs up, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Again, this is Paula Hope, the Caravan Hooker, saying happy crocheting.